going on, bud?
I'm alive.
That's good to hear. You're saying that you're feeling a little bit sick the last couple days.
Yeah, it's been most of the weekend, but I'm still here. I'm still kicking. I don't take
Well,
sick
that's good.
days here.
Well, you know what? That's not good. I would urge you to take more sick days.
No,
I think others would agree with me.
no. You
You're
know
just
what?
over there like, what is a sick day?
What is a sick day? But what I really want to know is why are you wearing a beanie?
Eh, um,
You don't wear beanies. You do hats.
it is beanie season.
No, it's still above 50 degrees. It's not beanie season.
Well, then
I
why are
wear
you
this
wearing a beanie?
because I wear this beanie on ironically because I wear flannel.
Well, if you must know, I
Xander,
did
you
a
have to
thing
tell me.
today.
Oh God, what'd you do?
I did a thing.
Oh no. Show me. Oh my God.
It's gone.
Did the trend. Got himself a
Yeah.
buzz cut.
Yeah.
Oh
Uh,
wow, this is awkward.
yeah. Yeah. Like it?
Yeah,
You like
I
it?
yeah, it looked good on you.
My hair
Well,
hasn't been
I
this short since boot camp.
oh wow. Now is the time that I have to tell you something too.
Oh God, you didn't do it too.
Nope, I still have all my luscious locks.
You fucking
God, no,
asshole.
I ain't cutting this shit. I've been growing this for
Oh
too
man.
long.
Fair. Fair.
Oh God.
Yeah, no, what happened was so the normal place so I used to get my hair cut by Jackie, and then
Yep.
I wanted to start going to a barber to
Mm-hmm.
see kind of like different ways it could be done. And then I found a
Right.
good place, but then the place that I normally go to, they didn't have any openings today.
Okay.
So I wanted to get it done before our uniform inspection tomorrow. So I just went
Ah.
to this other place and they messed up. And they're like, "So what do you want to do?" And I was like, "Just buzz it down, keep the top longer, fade the sides and back.
Oof.
We'll
That's
we'll start over."
always that's hurtful. Especially when you've been, like, growing your hair a certain way for a certain amount of time.
Yeah,
That's always hurtful.
yeah, I've been about 6 years, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
But
good lord.
anyway, good evening, everyone, and welcome to episode Dirty 30 of
Dirty
Comic Relief, the
30.
live weekly talk show for all things comics, their on-screen adaptations, and everything in between here on the Box Network, the new talk show network covering comic, horror, anime, and music news, which I will touch on at the end of today's show. I got a couple things that I would like to talk about on that. If you're joining us live on Twitch, please note that alerts are muted as not to disrupt the flow of the show, but will be acknowledged at the soonest opportunity. If you're watching us on YouTube, an easy way to show your love and support is to make that YouTube algorithm happy by giving this video a like, share, and subscribe to the Box Network. If you'd like to stay up to date with the upcoming shows and news, join us on Discord or follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Links will be in the description box down below. But for now, on with the show. We are your hosts. I'm Xander.
And I'm Jagger. And tonight we talk about The Crow. I just realized I forgot to change the color of that text.
Yeah, I looked at that and I was like,
Nope,
No,
nope,
you're
that's
good.
mine.
You're
That's
good.
my line.
You're good. That's your line. That's your
Tonight we're talking about The Crow, an old
Yes.
80s graphic novel that they turned into a 90s movie. Still holds the title for the most cursed film of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of apt
It's
that we're
funny.
talking
I
about it
thought the
in
way you were
cursed month.
describing it, I thought you were gonna go like it was an 80s comic that turned into a 90s movie with a early 2000s soundtrack and I thought you were just gonna get that down.
I mean, that's actually an accurate description. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie to you there.
Yeah, that is true.
But first, the news. Xander, you want to start us off with the news? We
Yes,
had
the
some
nerd
big
news.
ones.
The biggest one right now, in my opinion, and
Mhm.
perhaps yours, considering your shirt. DC Fandom was this weekend,
Accidental.
and there was just a bunch of stuff.
Oh
We kind
yeah.
of tried to weed out some of the more important stuff, and I want to give a shout out over to Big 75 Husky 75 for being our resident DC guy and picking out
Yes.
some of the best from DC's fandom. Right off the top, we got the best of DC fandom right off the bat. Black Adam and Batman.
Yep.
Did you see those?
I watched Big Husky's videos, and if you didn't catch DC fandom, I suggest going over to Big Husky on YouTube and check out one of his like 20 something videos that he did covering
This, by the
DC
way, this
fandom.
man, he cranked them out.
He had them all. He was
Oh my
on
god.
point the whole
That's a
time.
like, quick round of applause for Husky. Like
Yes,
that is
quick,
just
bro.
absolute determination.
Pure
But yes,
dedication.
if you did not catch DC Fandom, please head on over. We'll even drop a link in the description box below for Husky's YouTube channel. Check out
Drop
his
it in
coverage
chat
on
too.
that. Dude, Black Adam looks amazing.
It does. I
And
was so excited.
that line from Dwayne Johnson still rings very clear in my brain that the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change. I'm like, bro, this is sick. And then the Batman. The Batman looks
Really
bonkers.
good.
Like,
I'm so excited for it. Like you have no
and I love
idea.
how grounded it looks. But still kind of like having like it's almost like how I saw like the Spider-Man Noir uh kind of series.
Hmm.
Like just like very dark and gritty and grounded and stuff like that. And I saw someone post where if they're heading that route, they would love to see Hush as a big bad in the future of
Yeah.
that. Oh my god, that would be so cool.
I'd like to see
Um,
more grounded versions of the DC villains. I mean, like
mhm,
it's kind of neat to see like the Fantastical Psychos, but Batman's villains have always been sort of more grounded. Like even when you get into the more scientific minds, like Mister Freeze, like imagine
mhm.
a scary but grounded Mister Freeze. Like that would be
Like
really cool
almost
to
like
see.
almost steampunkish.
Almost think Walter White, like Bryan
Okay.
Cranston playing Victor Freeze, but he's
Mm,
like this calm, loving family man, but he has this dark side that can just get you in an instant.
one bad day.
I'm here for it.
I'd like to see that. Next up,
Yeah,
we have Gotham Knights, and Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, looking to continue the DC video game dominance. Which
both look
I
phenomenal.
agree. I agree with that statement by Husky. Let's face it, Marvel guys, all you got is
Marvel's
Spider
just got
Man,
Spider-Man. Well, now
and
they're gonna have Wolverine.
even then, that's the Arkham games with the Spider Man skin. Let's be fair.
Yes, but I will say Insomniac did a fantastic job adapting that style of game and making it their own. It seems like a copycat, but it sets itself apart enough that it's still a phenomenal game, and I'm excited for the second one, and I'm excited for the Wolverine game because I think they're
That's
both going to
fair.
be
That's
phenomenal.
fair. I've never played it, and because I don't have a PlayStation, so. But no, Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad kills the Justice League. Those look phenomenal. Let me
Yeah.
breeze through these because we do have a bit of extra news.
Hmm.
Milestone Media announced the Milestone Initiative to elevate the next generation of diverse creators in the comic book industry. Now, this was explained to me briefly last night by Husky. So this is essentially um, an initiative to jumpstart people of color in the field of the comic book industry. There's I'll find a link for the Milestone Initiative and drop that in the description box below as well. Next we have Peacemaker and the Flash drawing the biggest question marks.
Yeah.
Peacemaker, I will be totally honest. I watched the trailer last night and I watched it with Husky, and Husky has never seen me that speechless in a bad way.
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that one. I think they picked the wrong character to give their his own show
Hmm.
with the wrong actor. Because honestly, I don't
And the
like
wrong
John Cena.
director.
Yeah.
Like I liked James Gunn in the earlier days, and now he's slowly becoming someone that I just do not want to see attached to many future superhero projects.
Yeah. He turns a lot of like really serious moments into jokes, which
Hmm.
really sucks.
Yeah,
Um,
which I do that normally in my own everyday life. I don't need that in my films.
yeah, fair. That's a fair assessment.
Let's see. DC Animated brings out the next 2022 slate starting with Catwoman Hunted, Harley Quinn season 3, and Batman Caped Crusader. And lastly, new projects of DMZ, Naomi, Blue Beetle, and Batgirl all get little teases along with concept art and clips. The one that I did see was the Blue Beetle concept
Oh,
art.
it looks so good.
Looks phenomenal,
I'm ready
absolutely
for that
phenomenal.
one.
And
I
I'm
want
also
that one
very
to be
excited to
done.
hear that, essentially, in a way, they're kind of trying to do what they did with like Black Panther and Shang Chi, where there's
Mm.
very very good representation within the film for the character, for the fans of the character, and I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah, I think DC's finally catching on that they have really good side characters that don't get explored a lot,
Hmm.
and now they're trying to bring some like B and Z roster characters to the forefront instead of trying to redo your S tier heroes over and over again. Bring out some of the characters that nobody's ever heard of, like Blue Beetle and Booster Gold and Naomi and all those, and bring them to the forefront, give them the attention, and then all the fans that really love those characters are going to flock because
Yeah,
that's what Marvel started doing, and people are here for it. They don't want just the
absolutely.
main roster heroes anymore. I think my biggest takeaway from DC fandom is all the like the little things that we got,
Hmm.
like the little teasers for like we got another season of Doom Patrol coming. We got our first look at Shazam: Fury of the Gods.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
even some of the like the lesser things like League of Super Pets. It's a kind of a creative idea. I mean, they did it back in the day a little bit with Crypto the Super Dog, but I'm
yeah.
gonna
I
admit
remember watching
I
that.
used to watch the shit out of that show.
Hmm.
It was funny, so I don't know.
Yeah,
It's kind of neat that
I
they're
was
playing
actually gonna
into
hold.
their.
I was holding off on watching that trailer because I wanted to like watch it with Lydia at some point
Uh-huh.
to see if she that'd be something she'd be interested in. Because I mean, she loves superheroes, she loves
Right.
animals. That's
Yeah, she'd
kind of a
definitely
no
be into it.
brainer.
Yeah, she'll be into it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Let's see what else we got.
Uh, this was a tricky one for me to write. I had to redact myself on this next piece of news. So we got news that Sir Michael Caine, the wonderful and the great, was officially retiring from acting, but apparently not really. The actor stated that he had done over 50 films and enough was enough, but then later retracted his statement, saying, "I've spent 50 years getting up at 6 a.m. to create art, and I don't plan on getting rid of my alarm clock anytime soon." So he said he was retiring, and now he's not retiring. He's just like, haha, fooled you, gotcha, whatever.
That was more like, haha, fooled you.
Oh, fooled you, Master Wayne.
Michael Caine.
Michael Caine. We need to do another Michael Caine night in Discord.
I feel like once I get my stream deck and the audio fixed, because I don't know if anyone noticed tonight, but the sound effects are not working on the stream deck. Once I get that working, I might actually just ixnay one of the sound bits that I have and then replace it with just Michael Caine saying, "I am Michael Caine."
Oh my god. Um, Moving on from the Michael Caine news, Ryan
God.
Hurst from Sons of Anarchy fame started making waves in the comic community, saying that he would love to come to work in the MCU and play none other than Sentry,
I
a
can
name
see
that
it,
hasn't even a name that hasn't even been brought up in like movies and stuff yet. But
which
he
makes
said
me
he would.
happy. That makes me happy.
Yes, yes, I think Ryan Hurst would do a fantastic job as Sentry. He's got the
Well,
look for
the
sure.
biggest thing that I love to see is when actors go out of their way to bring up a character that hasn't been in the conversation yet, at least as far as we know. Then that for a fan, that tells me, oh, this person's a fan of the character. They're a fan
Right,
of the source material.
right.
So to me, that says they're going to do everything in their power to do right by the character.
Hmm.
Similarly to how Ryan Reynolds was a huge fan of Deadpool, and he
And
fucking
Hugh
hated what
Jackman.
happened to him in X-Men Origins. And so
Yeah,
he pushed and pushed and pushed to finally get an accurate Deadpool on
and
screen.
that was
And we
that was
finally
just
got
like
that.
when Hugh Jackman first signed on to play Wolverine. He was a
Mhm.
huge fan of the Wolverine comics, and he wanted to bring that character to life. And
Mhm.
he's been the one and only iteration of Wolverine for years,
Despite how tall he is.
despite how tall he is.
Yeah.
He still gave us that
Um
short king energy, though.
oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
And last little bit of news right here. First reviews from the world premiere of The Eternals are in and are inherently optimistic. Some people stating that the film is the most different from the other films and spectacularly weird and rich with MCU mythology. I do want to add onto this that I've been seeing a lot of the same things that a lot of people were saying about Shang-Chi, where
Mm.
essentially Shang-Chi felt like a movie that was its own standalone thing. You could really get into it, but gave you just enough to remind you, hey, this is also still a part of the MCU.
Yeah, which
So
gives
that
it
excites
I'm
me.
excited for that. I'm excited for that because the Eternals have a lot of, like, deep mythology,
Hmm.
and from the reviews that I've been reading, it does sound like they're gonna explore, like, the backgrounds of a lot of the different Eternals and how they connect to the future of
Right.
the MCU.
Right. Now, I will state this upon some of my research, and I try and do light research nowadays, especially with topics like this.
Mhm.
I did see many articles titled Major Spoilers Following Premiere Night.
Mhm.
Um, and a lot of times they would actually have those spoilers in the articles. I left it at the title. So I want to go ahead and give a big old spoiler alert to anyone watching right now. Be very, very, very careful when you're on the internet. Okay, this is just we're not going to talk about any spoilers because I haven't even seen them. But that is a big rotating text didn't update on screen. Oh yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god.
I
Yeah,
wasn't
I'll
gonna
fix
say
it.
it out loud, but I
Oh
was sitting there
yeah,
reading about it, I'm like, "Why am I seeing zombies on my screen?"
yeah.
I
Oh
was like, "This
man.
ain't
But
zombies."
anyway, yeah,
We're professionals.
yeah, we're totally professionals. Let me fix that.
But yeah, spoilers are out there. A lot of people saw the movie. There were a lot of like I saw a lot of TikTok creators that said they were there. Soups went, Straw Hat Goofy went,
Mhm.
um, and they keep their channels fairly spoiler free at least until the movie comes out for a week. They usually wait a week after the movie comes
Okay.
out to talk about it.
I respect
So
that.
TikTok is fairly safe when it comes to like the mainstream creators, but don't trust every creator you see because if you see something from Eternals, unless it's one of those trusted creators, scroll past it.
Yeah.
Unless you don't care. Some
Yeah.
people don't care about the spoilers.
But
So
be warned because I have heard from people that have seen spoilers and heard spoilers that it's huge. Like people are saying it's earth-shattering almost. Some of the shit that happens in this movie. So I am
yeah.
trying my best not to have another Red Skull fiasco on my hands. For those who don't
Mm.
know, Red Skull's appearance in Endgame was spoiled for me long before I watched the movie, and
I
I
had the
was
final
distraught.
snaps build for me a week before showtime. I
No.
was literally on Facebook and one of my friends posted one of those like funny gifs where it's like you click on it and it's like a dancing chicken or something, and then it says, haha, got you, and then it shows Tony snapping the gauntlet and Thanos disappearing. I'm just like,
No.
I was like, the movie isn't even out yet. Why would you do this? I
And
was so morbidly
unfriended.
upset. Yes, immediately.
Instant unfriended.
Instant unfriend. I
Oh
was so upset. I
no.
think that was the most upset I've been about a spoiler.
Holy shit.
Cause like I had Venom Let There Be Carnage spoiled for me, but like I didn't care
Yeah.
about that. I've had quite a few movies spoiled for me, but like
Yeah, that one I had spoiled for me as well because I mean I don't know. It's just eh, it's
yeah.
Venom. I mean,
Yeah, I
it
mean,
would have been cooler if they were a little bit more like on the nose with the character.
yeah.
And it was a much richer story and everything, but I mean, Venom's just
Yeah.
kind of like the fun anti-hero, which
Which is
eh,
fine. I mean, I'm fine with that.
yeah,
Venom
it's
becomes an
enjoyable.
anti-hero anyway, but
Yeah. I would have
yeah.
preferred like the villainous beginnings and then the transition but you know, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't work for Marvel or Sony, so it's okay.
No. So comic wise, what have you been up to? What you been reading?
So
Anything?
comic wise, I actually haven't really been paying attention because we've been so stuck on trying to finish Squid Game, which
Uh
I would so this is a stretch. I would argue it's somewhat comic book related, considering its plot and everything is it's very anime-esque. The way it feels. And anime, what's anime? It's it's basically manga turned into animation. What's manga? Japanese comic books. So there you go.
You're really stretching on that one.
Oh, dude, I'm stretching so hard. I can't even
Oh my
tell the space
god.
in between my spinal discs and but yeah. So we've
What?
actually been watching Squid Game. We finally finished it. And it is so good. It is so good. I've heard a lot of people that are out there vying for a season 2. I would highly disagree. Me personally, I would like to see it just stop here. Um, I just That's just how I
Yeah,
feel. No,
some things don't need a season 2. Leave them at,
yeah,
like, a mini series. That's
it
one thing I
leaves it.
do that's one thing I respect, God, I've been praising his name for weeks. Mike Flanagan.
Oh, okay.
I praise him for that because he takes a series, he does it, or he does a movie, and he leaves it. No unnecessary sequels or anything like Midnight Mass, Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of Bly Manor. He takes the story, he sets it in one season, and then he ends it. He doesn't need to do a revisit of Hell House, blah blah blah. Like I think certain series should be kept as a limited mini series and
Yeah,
not
no, I
try to
agree.
expand on them
Real
just because it was
quick,
popular.
Charles says, "Hey, that's my shtick." And then we got Eskabubu back from vacation. Welcome in, welcome
Welcome
back. How was
back.
your vacation? Yes, the fresh cut, a little shorter than normal, but we'll get it back to normal. But I will say this. So like Squid Game. If you haven't seen it, it's not necessarily spoilery, but or anything like that. But I will say it leaves it open to potentially be adapted into another season if they choose to. But
Yeah.
considering that the creator never really wrote a continuation,
Mhm.
and has openly stated, well, if I wanted to, I could probably go on Reddit and pull ideas from the fans. I don't like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
As cool as it is to where like the fans could write it, but at the same time you have the issue where, okay, so if you took an idea from someone, is that person gonna get paid for that idea?
Not if you put it on Reddit,
Hmm, exactly.
unless your ideas are
Exactly.
copywritten. Like you have to copyright your
Yeah.
entire like written catalog in order to do
Yeah.
that, which is possible. It costs money, but you could do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. So in order to avoid any messiness, I think Squid Game is a great one-off series. Keep it
Yeah.
at that first season. It's amazing. It's amazing. Have you seen it?
No, I haven't actually.
I would encourage you to watch it
Meg
if you get the
Meg
chance.
watched it. Meg watched it. I did not. I was still in my rewatch of The Umbrella Academy, which is what
Oh, okay.
my comic related topic has been. Um, for some reason I got a bug in my ass about it. I really wanted to rewatch it again because I couldn't remember all the events that happened in season one.
Mm-hmm.
So I rewatched it and it's just as good as I remember, and it's making me want to go
Okay.
pick up the compendium books that they have
Okay.
out for them because I want to read the Hotel Oblivion story before season 3 comes out next year.
Okay.
Because
Yeah, I
I
need to
don't
go
think
back and rewatch that because I think I watched most of, if not all of season one.
yeah,
Um,
they're good seasons. Like I
yeah,
think they did the characters really well. Um, because I was a fan of the book a while ago because shock surprise in high school I was a Gerard Way stan, so I followed everything he
that
did.
makes sense. That checks out.
It does. It does check out, surprising enough. So I was reading The Umbrella Academy as it came out, like online. Um, which it surprises me that I don't have the compendiums for the first two volumes, but
Right.
I don't think I ever actually got to read Hotel Oblivion,
Oh wow.
which is gonna be the third season. It's gonna combine like that and then the future Sparrow Academy storyline, which I'm excited for because he hasn't even written it yet, or he's been writing it, but it's not out yet.
Now, question: does he have any direct link to the show?
Who, Gerard Way?
Yeah.
I mean, he's an executive producer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
That was my only
creative
concern
rights
when
over it.
with an adaptation. I love it when adaptations actually have the original creator
Let me
directly
double
affiliated with
check.
it.
Let me double check because I know he's involved in a couple different capacities.
Okay.
One nice thing that I noticed that they did as I was rewatching it,
Mm-hmm.
um, They changed the credits at the end. They've updated it so that it says Elliot Page instead of Ellen Page.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Netflix did like a quick update on that,
It's awesome.
which I was kind of surprised about, but like really happy that they did that.
Yeah.
Let's see. So he has writing credits because it's his based on his comic,
Okay.
and then he didn't direct any episodes.
I would love to see him direct an episode.
I don't know if I would. I think his ADD would kind of get the better of him.
No,
Gerard Way was
let
co-executive.
it happen. Let it happen. I want to see that craziness. You know, screw that.
Yeah.
MCR reunion.
Mhm.
And it's just like a failed episode of Umbrella Academy that he tried to
No.
direct.
So he has the co-executive producer credit for 11 episodes. Um, and that's it actually. Most everything was Steve Blackman, who was
Okay.
the showrunner. Huh, interesting. No,
Interessante.
yeah, very interesting. I'd like to see him get a little bit more hands-on with it, especially if they're going to start adapting future stories.
Right.
Because everything that's coming out about season 3 right now is they teased the Sparrow Academy, which is supposed to be volume 4
Mm-hmm.
of the books, and it's not out yet, but they want to incorporate it into the show. So I'm assuming they're getting all of the writing points from Gerard, but
Mm-hmm.
who knows? It would be nice to see him be a little bit more hands-on with the show. I mean, I have no complaints about the show currently because it's a very direct adaptation, a little
Yeah.
more grounded than the books are, but still really good. Other than that, I've just been all horror.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I mean,
been spoopy season two,
Halloween Kills came out
like
Friday.
tack
I've already seen it
11.
twice. Halloween Kills came out on
Which
Friday, and I've already seen it twice. We watched it in Discord on Monday night, and then I saw it in theaters on Saturday morning.
oh wow.
Yeah.
I
So,
was lucky enough to get in on one of them last night, Halloween Kills,
yeah.
aka John Wick, aka Die Hard.
You're killing me.
I'm sorry, some of those kills in that I was like, wait, are we still watching Halloween?
It's very much still Halloween because it had that like 80s slasher vibe still.
A little bit, a little bit.
Because like the
I
80s
will admit
slashers
that.
had a lot of cheesy kills. They weren't scary. They were all cheesy, and it was
Well, no,
great. And that's what I
that's
love
the
about
thing.
them.
Like some of these, it wasn't even cheesy. It was downright like kind of badass. I'm just like,
Oh
wait a
yeah,
second, wait a second.
absolutely.
When
Um,
when did they switch out Michael Myers with Liam Neeson? Like,
no, that's all the
but
great acting prowess of James Jude Courtney. Like
oh man,
he did a phenomenal job as Myers in these two films. But I do think they should have called it Halloween Evil Dies Tonight because they've said that like I don't know how many times in the movie.
you could you could turn that into a drinking game.
Oh God, how to get
Sips.
alcohol
We'll do
poisoning in an
sips.
hour and
No,
how
we'll
to
do
get alcohol
sips.
poisoning in an hour and 45 minutes.
Just sips. Just sips.
Okay, okay, even sips, you're
That's
getting
my
drunk.
argument to anyone who says that if they play a drinking game based off of like a show or something like that, that they're gonna get like just like absolutely trash or like fucking just like sick. I would venture to say just do sips then. Don't do shots for this or that or the other thing. Like, have you ever seen the HGTV drinking games?
No, I don't watch HGTV.
Oh fuck. Well, anyway, there are HGTV drinking games. That's the thing. And
Okay.
a lot of them don't follow the rules on the ones that you find online. Change up the rules to like sips and stuff like that because they will say take a shot anytime someone mentions crown molding or
Ugh.
anytime there's a couple that argues over like, oh well, I really like this house. Oh no, but I like this house. Like just like some of the times or like anyone mentions shiplap. Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
I
Change it
hate
to
Chillhop.
sips. This has been my PSA. But anyway, Jagger, take us into the main topic of the night.
Yes, and I guess it's kind of a good thing that I have kind of a gravelly voice for tonight because we're talking about The Crow, a nice dark story based off of the James O'Barr comic that came out in the early '80s. Um, I'll go ahead and run through a brief synopsis real quick before we get into it. The Crow is a 1994 American Gothic superhero film directed by Alex Proyas, written by David J. Shaw and John Shirley. It stars Brandon Lee in his final film appearance as Eric Draven, a murdered musician who is resurrected to avenge the deaths of himself and his fiancée. Um, this film is still labeled as the most cursed film of all time, and we'll get into that as we go on. Um, Xander, are you familiar with like the source material at all, like the comic?
Uh, Not entirely. No, I've seen like images and stuff
Mhm.
like that, but I have never really read the comic.
Okay,
I've only ever seen the movie.
if you can find the original black and white comic, and it's circulating somewhere online, like you could find a zip file for it. I recommend reading it because it's so good. And the movie adapts the comic very well. They just had to omit a few characters and a few things that were pretty important
Right.
because this movie, as they were making it, they realized this is gold. We can do stuff with this. It was gonna be like the '90s version of Sin City, but better.
Right.
And they wanted to make multiples, so they wanted to create it as like an anthology of movies, but everything that happened on film. Um, so the it's hard to talk about 'cause it's a rough thing.
Right.
Um, so most of you may or may not know, but Brandon Lee is the son of late great action film star Bruce Lee, who was killed on the set of a movie as well. But during the production of The Crow, Brandon Lee was fatally wounded during filming. He had finished most of the scenes before his death, but the film was eventually completed through script rewrites, a stunt double, and digital effects. The movie eventually was dedicated to him and his fiancee Eliza Hutton. Um, but Brandon Lee was killed by a prop gun. So they have different effects that they can do with guns. You can have fake cartridges that look like real bullets, but they don't have any gunpowder in it. And then there's blanks that have the gunpowder but no bullet. Um, Apparently, in the one gun that you see throughout the film is like a 44 Magnum. They put a dummy round in, didn't realize that the bullet portion had gotten lodged in the barrel of the gun.
Yeah, which
Loaded up
that there's actually a term for that. It's a squib round.
squibs. Yes, that's what it was.
Yep.
Um, and then later in a later scene, they put a blank in, shot it, and it fired the lodged squib and killed Brandon on the spot. And a lot of things changed about the film. Um, Originally, the film was being produced by Paramount Pictures. They decided to not go forward with distribution of the film, and the rights were picked up by Miramax. They oversaw the completion of the film, and then eventually the film was released, and it had overwhelmingly positive reviews. It grossed 94 million on a 23 million dollar budget, and it got a large cult following. I mean, you still see a lot of people who praise The Crow as one of the best films of all time. Um, it did eventually lead to a media franchise, but they couldn't do what they wanted to do because they wanted to continue the story of Eric Draven, but they kind of it kind of felt like a bunch of reboots. It was the same story, but with different characters and different plot details. So it's very weird how popular the movies have gotten, mainly the first one. You've seen the movie, right?
Yes, I've seen the movie.
Okay.
And I understand that during the rewrites, there was there were plans for a character that never came to fruition. Do you want to
Yes.
elaborate on that?
Yeah, a very important character from the comic, the Skull Cowboy. Um, so the Skull Cowboy was originally planned to be part of this adaptation, and they actually filmed scenes and they had makeup and everything drawn up. Michael Berryman, who's most famous for being on the cover of the original Hills Have Eyes, he was set to play the Skull Cowboy. Um, he was supposed to be the guide for Eric Draven. Like if anybody's seen the Spawn live action film, he's basically Cagliostro. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of what the Skull Cowboy looked like on screen. Send this to Xander. It's not a very clear picture. Here, I'm just gonna post it in chat if you have it up. But they did full prosthetics for Michael Berryman, um, and it looked phenomenal. He filmed scenes, but because of how much money it took for them to go back and do the CGI layovers of the stuntman's face for Eric Draven, um, the different rewrites, the new special effects, all that cost so much money. They actually had to cut the Skull Cowboy. And Berryman even said because while he was filming the movie, he got really close with Brandon Lee. He said he didn't even want to finish it because he was so heartbroken. So he was fine with his character being cut. He wished that they could have finished the film as they wanted to, but it's it was too much for him. He couldn't do it. Um, and the actual actor who fired the bullet on screen, he actually took an entire 2 years off of acting because of the guilt.
There you go. I have the image on screen now.
Yeah, I mean, the costume looked phenomenal. I mean, I watched a making of. They were doing like full live cast of Michael Berryman
Mhm.
for that costume alone, and it was a lot of work. Um, and it sucks that like the film wasn't what it could have been because of
Yeah.
what happened.
Yeah, it
Um,
is very rough. Um, but even following that, like there have been attempts to reboot it and remake it, but
yes.
they kind of failed due to unforeseen circumstances.
Right. So there's been three other sequels, City
Hmm.
of Angels, and then two others whose names I don't remember. They were straight to DVD. Um, and they're none of them are very good. I mean, they're
Right.
interesting, they're kind of unique, but nothing beats the original.
Hmm.
There were plans in 2018 to reboot the original The Crow with the Eric Draven story. They had a couple different actors signed on. Nicholas Holt was signed on for a bit. Bradley Cooper was signed on for a bit, but all of them had to drop out for unforeseen reasons. And then they finally got a director and actor to start the production. Jason Momoa was going to play Eric Draven, and they had a director whose name I also don't remember. He's not super famous at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, but both dropped out within weeks of each other. They
That's
couldn't do the
wild.
film, and the movie's been shelved since then. Like the rights are still there. Miramax still owns the rights to the film. They want to do another one, but they can't get anybody to sign on for it. And a lot of people are just pointing at it, saying like, "This is not a movie you should reboot. It is a dedicated film. A celebrated actor died on this set. Like, it's not something that you touch that many years later."
Well, I also wanted to touch on a couple of things that I found kind of spooky. I'm gonna see if I can pull some of this up, but one that I remember off the top of my head was that even prior to filming,
Mhm.
the crew arrived on set to a message. It was like a voicemail message that basically said, uh, "If you make this movie, bad things will happen."
Yeah.
Which is
So they had
very,
that.
very ominous.
And then there were a couple other omens that happened. When they first started production, they had a crane operator who
Mhm.
drove his crane into live power lines, and it shocked and killed him within like a week of starting filming.
Right.
They also
Yeah,
had a
that's
special
just
effects artist
fucking
come down with an
wild to me,
illness.
though.
Yeah, it's weird because like I was watching a series on Shudder called
Mhm.
Cursed Films, and The Crow happened to be one of them, and I thought it was just gonna be, like, horror films because like, I know a lot of the stuff that happened on, like, the set of The Exorcist, The Omen, Poltergeist,
Mhm.
etcetera, and then they got to the episode where they talked about The Crow, and I was like, "I didn't realize that it was actually labeled as, like, the most cursed film of all time," because, like, bad things happen to people who even, like, reboot the movie, and, like, the other films, they've had reboots and sequels and, like, bad adaptations, and nothing's happened on those sets. They were kind of isolated to the
Right.
originals.
Right.
Um, but this one, like, the tragedies, like, keep going,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of there was a lot of controversy that came out as the movie was being made because they thought they tried to make a link back to Bruce Lee and the Triad, and they were
Yeah, I
saying
actually have
that
I have an article pulled up touching on just that. If you don't mind me going ahead and reading this real quick.
go for it.
All right, so right here it says, so the star of The Crow, Brandon Lee, was the son of martial arts legend Bruce Lee. The elderly died during the production of his final film. Some fans speculated that the Chinese mafia had placed a hit on the actor for betraying martial arts secrets. Others suspected that he had been struck by an insidious death blow at an earlier time. The most popular theory about the dragon's death is that he was a victim of the Lee family curse. His older brother had died. The Lee's parents believed that there was a demon targeting the males in the Lee family. Like his father, Brandon Lee died before he finished filming The Crow. In a fluke accident, the performer was shot. We've already covered that with the dummy round and everything. But yeah, so essentially, what's happening here is there's a curse, a curse on the
Yeah.
Lee family.
Well, that and there was a lot of stories that went around saying that the Triad didn't like Bruce Lee because Bruce Lee refused to work on any film that the Triad funded or supported. So he did a lot of stuff with like American directors, which they hated. That's why they had him killed. And Brandon Lee went the same path. He followed in his father's footsteps. He wouldn't work on films that were funded or supported by Triad members. So they speculate that they had him killed as well. But after a lot of investigation, they ruled it a pure accident. Like there was no setup, there was no anything like that. It was just pure fluke accident.
Yeah,
They had sent their firearms expert home early that day because they
yeah.
weren't supposed to do any other filmings, but Brandon wanted to work later. So the weapon didn't get checked properly and
Yeah, as the prop assistant, I believe.
yes.
Yeah, the prop assistant. He was in charge of, I guess, grabbing the firearms that were used. And I mean,
Yeah.
I can understand having dealt with firearms at that capacity at one point. That can be easily something that people overlook because as a prop assistant, he's probably under the impression that these are already checked, they're good to go.
Right.
I would venture to say that before sending the firearms expert home, he should have done one last check.
Well,
Um,
so this movie was actually one of the reasons why there's so many different firearms regulations now on film
mhm,
sets. Like now
mhm,
there's no one version of a gun. So like say you have a handgun that a specific character uses. There are now 6 versions of that handgun. There's a version that will not fire, there's an accurate version, there's a version that only gets dummy rounds but no firing pin, and there's a version that gets blanks but no
mhm.
dummy rounds. So, and they have them all like locked, secured. Only certain ones are out on certain times. They're very meticulous about having multiple versions of the same firearm.
Right.
Because for that reason, like you're not going to put a dummy round in a gun that's also going to be firing blanks.
Yeah. For, obvious reason that we see here.
Right. And then there was a lot of other like because back when all this happened, this was in 1994. So
Right.
we didn't get news beamed to us in Discord or straight to our phones. Like I
Mhm.
wasn't getting messages from Xander in 94 on Instagram saying, "Oh dude, this actor just died on the set of the film." Um there was a lot it was like a game of telephones, like the messages got warped as it passed through more ears. Um
Right.
there were a lot of people who were creating rumors saying that the footage of Brandon Lee getting shot is in the final cut of the film, where there's a version of the film out there that has him dying on screen, and it's false. It's false information. I looked into it, and they said that once the police investigation ruled that it was an accident, they had all of the footage destroyed from that entire filming day. So like none of that footage exists anywhere. It's just there's so much surrounding this film. It's wild.
Yeah, it's actually I felt a little silent there because it is very heavy. It's very
Yeah,
very
it's a
very
heavy
heavy stuff.
topic. And
Which
like and he was
I apologize for not playing this earlier, but I'm gonna go ahead and do this now just for the sake of it. So here's our sensitive topic warning.
Oh yeah, I was
So
about
if
to say
you've
you don't
made
have to
if
play a spoiler alert.
yeah, no, if you made it this far, and I apologize if any of this has brought you down or anything like that. But I mean, it's a
Realistically, if people are clicking on a video talking about the crow, like you kind of expect it to be a hefty
little
topic.
bit
I
rough,
mean,
yeah.
the contents of the film alone are
Oh
hefty.
yes, legit. Like within the first, I want to say what 5-10 minutes.
I mean, yeah, you have murder, you have drug use, you have sexual assault, you have all kinds of things in the first like 10 minutes of the film. It's a hefty movie. It's not for the faint of heart.
Just to throw off the heaviness real quick. Did you hear my sneeze at all?
No, I didn't know you
Let's
sneezed.
go. Let's go. I had the
I wish I had
timer on.
an
What?
emergency mute button. I've been trying to suppress my sneezes this entire time. I don't have an emergency mute button.
Yeah. We are not sponsored or anything like that. But Elgato, if you're listening, I have the Elgato Wave 3, and it has this amazing touch mute button at the very top.
A little
Well,
fast
it's
for their
actually
Xander.
very convenient though, because like I remember back in the day when I was using my Yeti Blue microphone, and like I had a sneeze or like a cough coming on, I had like pushed the button in front. It's a little thing that you don't really think about, but like
Doesn't
when
work.
I'd like have to sneeze, I could feel it coming on, and I'd go to push the button, but I didn't push it all the way before the sneeze came out, and it's
Oh
just like
God.
it's just a fail. But
Mm.
here, I just had to. I like felt it. I thought I missed it, but I just tap, sneeze, tap again. Hey, you guys didn't know I sneezed unless you were actually paying attention and watching the video. So
And I watched you sneeze, but like,
yeah, it's got to be funny though. Like just like hearing a silent sneeze. Just,
that face, that fucking face. Anyway, back on topic. What
Oh,
are your
sorry,
thoughts on
it
the
was
movie?
getting very dark and very heavy. I had to lighten the mood a little bit,
Yeah,
and
yeah. We're gonna move away from talking about like the curse of the film for now. What are your overall thoughts on the movie? Like just the movie as a whole.
so I remember the first time I watched it, I loved it. It's part of the
Mhm.
reason why I love gritty horror, like gritty hero movies.
Mhm.
Um, Part of the reason why Netflix's adaptation of The Punisher was by far my favorite out of all of the Marvel Netflix properties. And then close second was Daredevil.
Yeah.
Um, I love the grittier aspect of superheroes because they do. I mean, even with Spider-Man, even if you read the comics, he gets his hands dirty quite a few times.
Mhm.
And it gets really fucking rough. And I like actually seeing that side of it. Um, Now, recently, I will say I only got through about a quarter of the way through the movie recently because, we live busy lives. We
Right.
may not look like professionals here, but we are professionals in other aspects of our lives. Um, so things get busy. We don't always have time for everything. But
Exactly.
I will say, from what I watched, it didn't necessarily age well.
Oh no, it's 1994.
Um, yeah, but I mean, like I've watched movies like from back in the '80s that still hold very, it like one thing that stands out to me when I say something like that is like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Like that is
Okay, you can't bring in
I
that.
just hear me out. Hear
That's
me out.
different leagues of movies. I'm sorry.
I
That's a
I
bad example,
understand,
and you
but
know it.
I understand that, but what I'm trying to get at is even in today's age, a movie like that still it's still very enjoyable. It's still very it's not very cheesy. It's not over the top or anything like that. Maybe Twist and Shout was a
Doesn't
little over
count.
the top,
It doesn't
but
count.
it still holds its value over time.
It's a
Whereas this
classic. It's
one,
Ferris Bueller. Like, how are you gonna try and compare Ferris Bueller to The Crow? Give me like another like cult classic that you think holds up better. Rack your brain
This,
for a minute.
yeah, I'm gonna have to rack my brain. You go ahead and say your piece uh,
Like,
about the
so
movie.
I haven't had time to rewatch it, but I've watched it within the year. Like
Hmm.
I when I finished watching the series Cursed Films, I rewatched The Crow. Um and I think it for what it is, I think it could have been better. Um I personally think, and this is going to be heavy from me. I think it holds up better than the Spawn live action movie.
Ooh, ooh,
And I
ooh.
defend the hell out of that movie. And I don't know, it felt like what Sin City wanted to be
Okay.
without all that extra like ink spot filming that they did. Like
Yeah.
I realized it was a stylistic choice. I think it was unnecessary. I think if they'd have kind of gone with the style of like the muted washed out colors and because the original Crow comic is black and white. It's very
Right.
much like Frank Miller's Sin City where it's just ink. It's just black ink. Um and it translated to screen very well. They shot 80% of the I think it was like 90% of the movie at night. They washed out a lot of the colors. A lot of the like the costume choices were black and white. Um, there were some splashes of color in there in some of the more intense scenes, and I think it worked very well for the time that it came out. And I honestly think the movie still holds up.
Okay. So I found my movie.
Okay.
Boondock Saints. If you were to watch the Boondock Saints today, you wouldn't think, that
What?
was too over the top. That was cheesy. I think the Boondock Saints still holds pretty true, and that's 1999.
Okay, yeah, there's a 5 year difference. I mean, it's a
But
big
still in
5 years, but
but I mean, it's still the 90s. It's still the 90s.
yeah,
I would argue that there are some things in, and I agree that during the time that The Crow was made and the Boondock Saints, there are a lot of things that, especially considering what has happened with the making of The Crow, could
yeah,
have led to a lot of reasons as to why Boondock Saints was, obviously different. But
yeah,
I would say that rewatching The Crow today, it doesn't have the same kind of vibes. Like, and this is me like trying to pull away from the fact that I do love The Crow. I do love it as a movie. I will still enjoy it, but like
hmm
taking myself out of, you know, liking it for biased reasons. I was looking at it straight from just a today's perspective. And I honestly couldn't really like I didn't really feel bad that I couldn't get past the first fourth of the movie.
okay. I can get that because I'm sitting here like in my mind and I'm like comparing the Boondock Saints to John Wick
Low key,
because
low
because
key, I will
hold on,
choose Boondock Saints over John Wick.
same, but that's almost very similar because it's a similar mindset because you think like
Hmm.
John Wick is like the peak of our action movies today,
Yeah, today, yeah,
regrettably so, but basically in the same vein as like how Boondock Saints was back in the
yeah,
90s.
yeah,
That's almost like trying to compare The Crow from 94 to the Netflix Punisher series. Hard to do.
yeah,
You kinda can't hold the 2 together, just like
yeah.
you can't hold the Boondock Saints against John Wick. Arguably, I'm gonna go watch Boondock Saints because I'm a classicist. I like the older stuff better because it
Since
felt
uh,
better.
since since we're on the topic though, and I don't think I've ever really asked. Well, actually, I think we touched on this just like very briefly,
Mhm.
like off stream or something like that. But if I were to give you a choice, which would you choose? And this will keep in mind, this will forever change the dynamic of you and me as co-hosts for the future of Comic Relief.
Are you sure you wanna ask this question?
Yes, I am asking it here now. This has to be done because it's on my brain and it's burning a hole in my skull.
Okay.
Boondock Saints or Die Hard?
Why would you ask that?
Dude, I have to. I have to. It's bothering the fuck out of me right now.
I'm gonna catch so much shit for this, but Boondock Saints.
Chat, what do you
And
guys
my
say? What do
and
you
my
guys say?
reasoning for this, only reason I like Die Hard is for Alan Rickman. Hans Gruber is the only interesting character in that movie. I stand by that statement.
I would have chosen Boondock Saints as well.
God, okay.
Yeah.
You were leaving me on the edge of my seat here. Like, bro, like I'm sitting here thinking, like, oh god, he's
like, don't get me
secretly.
wrong. I love Die Hard. I love Die Hard. I love. I agree with Alan Rickman, but I also love Bruce Willis in that. That's probably my
Yeah,
favorite role that I've ever seen Bruce Willis in, aside from.
Unbreakable.
Oh, that's
Unbreakable.
I actually put Unbreakable third.
Unbreakable is my favorite
I
performance of his.
I go Die Hard and Red and then Unbreakable. The only reason I say Red is honestly because I have this fantasy that Red is a continuation of Die Hard.
So you're saying that it's basically because he's John McClane.
Yeah.
See,
That's
I'm
the
over
only
here.
reason.
I'm sitting over here thinking like I haven't seen the rest of the studio. I'm thinking you have like an entire replica of Nakatomi Tower beside you with John McClane's tank top hanging behind it. Like
Oh my god.
the way you asked that question, I'm like, this dude is the biggest diehard stan ever, and I just offended him, and we just canceled our show.
That's what you
Had
got.
to
You
say
got to
it.
do it for the content, man. You got to do it.
Well, the content writes itself at this point.
No, but like I said, I do love Die Hard, but Boondock Saints holds just like this special place in my heart that just festers in the best way possible.
Yeah,
Just you and your fucking rope, like it. Oh god. And then the many ways of saying fuck.
oh yeah.
Oh my god, that movie is probably hands down. If I were to do like a full on like movie tier list, it would be in my it'd be in my top 3
Like top 3 movies of all time, or top 3 tier list
of all
categories.
time. Like top 3 movies that I've seen of all time.
I wouldn't go that far. Like I like
That's that.
before
Well,
that
you see
doesn't
that.
even crack top 10.
See, that's me. That's me. But
I
you've
know,
probably
I
seen
know.
a lot more movies than I have.
I have. I guarantee I have.
Yeah, you're also older than
So,
me.
not by much.
By like what, 3 years?
I think so. I'm about
Yeah.
to be 30 in May, so
Yeah. So yeah, 3 years.
call me a grumpy old man if you want. But my teen
Mm.
years were lonely. I
Actually,
watched
now
movies.
no, it'd probably be more like 2.5.
Yeah, stuff like that.
But no, Boondock Saints. There's just something about it I just absolutely just fucking love.
Yeah,
That and the fact that A Day to Remember used a portion of that in what was it is it 1905? Is that the name of the song? Devin,
I
if you're
don't
still here,
remember.
help me out. Is it 1905 by A Day to Remember? Let's see here.
I don't know.
Or no, I'm thinking of something different.
You might be thinking of something different.
It's 19 something. See, A Day to Remember.
1958.
Discography. 1958. Okay, yeah, that's it.
I just typed in a day to remember Boondock Saints.
Okay. Yeah, I was
And
actually
it pulled
going
up
on
the music.
Spotify.
No, I just googled that shit.
GTS.
So wrapping up our topic here.
Mm-hmm.
We both enjoy the film.
Mm-hmm.
I know I have more experience with the source material than you do, but really for the sake of the film it doesn't really matter because they changed so much of it because of Brandon Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Um The final question that wraps it up: do you think a film can be cursed?
Whew. Uh, so
And I'm getting a little existential on you.
yeah, so I would say, God, personally, because I'm in that weird vein where I am a skeptic, but to a certain degree, to
Mhm.
where I don't think outright a film could be cursed per se, but if there are some sort of warnings and stuff like that, like someone else is like, yo, you probably shouldn't do this because there's a thing or whatever, I'm not gonna fuck around with it to find out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that's it's a mixed bag. Like, I guess maybe it could potentially be. It's like a Ouija board.
It's a hard question, I know.
Yeah, it's like a Ouija board. Like, do I full on believe it? Not necessarily, but I'm not gonna fuck around with it to find out.
Yeah, I believe that. I personally think that they can be. I mean, there's too many instances of bad things happening on conveniently themed sets and movies. I mean, I listed them earlier. You have The
Yeah,
Exorcist, The
yeah,
Omen, Poltergeist, The
yeah.
Twilight Zone, The Crow. Like they're all kind of supernaturally thematic.
Hmm.
Um, and
Now,
I don't
see, the
know.
skeptic in me would pose the question: do you think that these are just coincidences that happened on set, but because they had that supernatural theme, people immediately are like, "Oh fuck," like this is why it's happening.
So I can go case by case on this one. Um, with The Exorcist, I could say two deaths is coincidence. Six and an entire set catching on fire, not coincidence.
That's fair.
Six
That
deaths
is
tied to
fair.
a film. The entire set was burned down except for Reagan's bedroom. It was the room with the most lights and the most equipment where a fire was more likely to start. Not coincidence. Um,
That is fair.
Deaths and accidents surrounding the actors and directors of The Omen before the filming of the film and then before the release of the film, and it only happened to specific people. Not coincidence.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
you're right. You're right. When you're right, you're right.
Now I say with The Crow, I say that the death of Brandon Lee was pure accident, but all the events
Hmm.
that led up to it, the omens that happened before it, the constant shutdowns of the sequels and the reboots and everything, and the fact that the projects are getting halted like for no reason. I mean, there's no reason why Jason Momoa's reboot of The Crow should not have happened.
Yeah.
Fans were for it. It was met with like resounding excitement. Like people were excited to see the kind of energy he would bring to the
Yeah.
character, and then out of
Also, not
nowhere,
gonna
it's just
lie,
like,
like I'm a very openly straight man, but the idea of Jason Momoa as Eric Draven has
yeah,
me gushing.
yeah,
I am gushing, dude.
yeah, it makes me wet. I can't even lie about that. But like
Like that's just perfect casting
that
right there.
kind of deal, and then all the stuff that happened with Poltergeist, and it,
This
that one's a
sounds
little too
like
that one's a little too
this
sad to get into on here.
this sounds like you should go through some cursed films over on Cursed Tapes.
It's planned. It's gonna be a
Yeah.
hard episode to get through because one of them is my favorite film of all time, and one is an extremely sad topic. I mean, we talked that talking about The Crow was a hefty topic. Talking about the
Hmm.
Poltergeist is harder to talk about because it involved an
Well,
11-year-old girl.
on that note, is there any last notes that you want to make on The Crow?
No. If you haven't seen it, I suggest watching it. If you can find a version of the comic online, read it. It's great. And if
There we
you have
go.
access to Shudder, then watch the Cursed Films
Yeah, so we
episode
got
on it.
Shudder, we got cursed films on Shudder.
Yeah.
I will say you can watch The Crow on Pluto TV. It's completely free.
Mhm.
Again, we are not sponsored. We're not sponsored.
Not a
But if
sponsor.
you guys want to sponsor us, hit me up. Uh, but Pluto TV, it's a free app. They have loads of free things that you can watch, and one of them is The Crow. That's what I was using to try and watch it before we dove into it tonight to try and get a little refresher. But I'm gonna leave it with Jagger. Go ahead and talk more on your cursed tapes and what else we got going on this week.
Oh man, I forgot to pull my calendar up. Hang on.
Oh no.
I'm sorry, I'm
Come
ill
on, we're
prepared.
supposed to be professionals here. We're 30 episodes in, man.
Okay. Oh no. So tomorrow night we're all actually on Otaku's Anonymous. I forgot about that.
Mm.
We're supposed to be talking about Jujutsu Kaisen, basically
Oh
demon
yes, I
hunting.
completely forgot about that. I'm gonna have to
I
let
c-
Sledge know. My bad. My homeboy
yeah,
Sledge. I set up a meeting with him for some virus stuff. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. You know what I mean? But I'm gonna have to let him
I'm
know.
supposed to be playing Phasmophobia with Husky and Billy tomorrow night.
Oh
I
fuck no, that's a big
I
one
think we're
too.
I know it's a big one. I think we're playing early enough though, so I'll have to talk to
Okay,
them about
okay,
what
yeah,
time we're
because
playing.
Husky on Phasma has to happen, and I
Yes.
have to see both of you guys on that.
Yeah.
I
I
wanted
love
to
the
be a part
game.
of that too, so fuck,
Yeah.
damn.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
Planning,
So
am
we
I
have I
right?
know, schedule conflicts. Trying to help the homies, but we forgot our own schedule.
Mm.
And then Thursday for me is going to be a long stream because I'm going to be doing a game night. We'll be playing
Ooh,
Lost
game
in
night.
Vivo.
The
Lost.
supposed scariest game of all time.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying it's the scariest game they've ever played, and these are like actual horror creators that are like, dude, you need to prepare yourself mentally for it.
Oh
So far, the
fuck.
only horror game I've played that kind of messed me up a little bit was Blair Witch, but I also wasn't in the right mindset when I played that.
Okay.
Um, and I've seen other people play it. And I'm like, I don't know why this bothered me so much, but it did.
Yeah.
Um, so we'll see. And if for some reason Lost in Vivo falls through, we're gonna be starting on playing Visage, which is also one of the scariest games ever.
I've seen a good bit of that and I do not like it.
Yeah,
I've
it's nerve wracking.
yeah. I would totally try and tune in and watch you play it. Uh,
You'll
because
try.
it's like with like last night with Halloween Kills. And I mean if we
Yeah.
were to watch something like a little bit scarier, I'd be totally fine with hanging out and watching it with you guys. Which by the way, during October, my man Jagger with his cursed tapes, he does do horror movie watch parties over in our
Yes.
Discord. So if you want to get involved in that, please click the Discord link in the description box below. It's a fun time.
And
It's honestly a
this
fun time.
Friday, let me pull up what we're watching this week.
Yeah, let's
I
get the watch list
want
going.
what was
Um,
on for this
but it's
week.
good. It's good. Now, keep in mind, be respectful if you do join. We like to banter a little bit every now and then. But I do understand that some people do actually want to just watch the movie, so just keep that in mind.
So
Um,
this Friday, we're actually doing a double feature.
ooh, double feature night. Let's go.
We're,
What are we
we're
watching?
we're watching The Strangers and the sequel, Pray at Night.
Ooh,
Those films actually give me the creeps. For some reason, home invasion films still kind of get me.
really?
Yeah, like they don't
We got
scare me,
we
but they
we
like
got
make
to
me
we got to
weirded
stick
out.
you in like some like self defense classes or something like that to kind of like build up that confidence.
Well, I mean, I'm fine. It's just I always get that uneasy feeling because, like, when you've been at your computer all night, like you're watching films, you have your headphones in, your noise is going constantly, so you're constantly stimulated, and then you turn everything off, and like the house is really quiet. It's that eerie feeling, and like after watching those films, and I have that feeling, I get a little uneasy. Not like scared, but uneasy.
So see now you kind of understand like my mindset when like if I'm playing Phasmophobia with you guys late at night and then I cut the stream and then I turn everything off and then I walk out into a pitch black hallway to walk down to my bedroom.
To hear ASMR videos over your TV.
Well, yeah, I don't. Well, no, it's actually on Jackie's phone, but
Oh.
I don't realize that's not the first thing through my mind when I'm hearing that noise when it's like fucking like ice coming out of like a fucking ice machine or whatever, or just ice tinkling in a fucking bowl, or even just like someone whispering and then they're doing like the tickly scratch on someone's arm or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so when I'm walking, I'm like, no, it's scary.
Yep, I get it.
I don't like
But
it.
yeah, that's what we're doing on Friday. We're gonna be watching the original Strangers and the Strangers Pray at Night back to back. We might start a little bit early. We normally start at 9 p.m. Eastern, but we might start at 8 that night because we're watching two movies.
Yeah, because it is a double feature.
Yeah.
Also, we have plans for our 24-hour stream. Do you want to touch on that?
Yes. So we have a handful of games and things planned for a 24-hour stream, as well as giveaways and talking segments. It will be hosted by the entire box team, which is still growing. Um, Games that are on the docket to play, we're going to be playing Dead by Daylight with other streamers, as well as with chat members, community members. Um, I plan to play some single player horror games myself. I plan on playing Visage, Alien Isolation, and a couple other viewer requested games. We're going to be doing host versus host games like Uno, Monopoly, Goose Goose Duck. You're going to see the entire box team pit themselves against each other for fun.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. You're going down, dude.
yeah, right. No, I'm definitely going to lose. By that time, I'll have been on like hour 20 of the stream, so I'm going to be compromised. So it doesn't count. We're also going to be bringing back some of the game shows, like Would You Rather, Guess the Tagline, things like that, with the box host and some other guests that I'll be bringing back from previous episodes of Cursed Tapes. Um, but we have prizes lined up for the giveaway segments. I'm going to be designing a one-of-a-kind Cursed Tapes hoodie that I will be sending out to somebody. We're going to make it in a 2X, so it'll be comfy, or we're going to make it in a 3X, so that it's comfy for anybody to wear. I'm gonna be giving away a limited edition copy of Halloween 2018 signed by myself, and we will also be giving away two custom created Jason Voorhees masks, one designed by me and one designed by my wife Meg. So we have a good bit of things to give away to people. So
Let's
be sure to
go.
be
Let's go.
subscribed here, subscribe to our YouTube. All subscribers are entered automatically to win these prizes, and tune in for the 24-hour stream to find out the rest of the criteria.
Exactly. And we're gonna have some more information on that coming up on our social media. We're gonna work together and get some nice little images for you guys to get like the nice juicy details on all that as
Yeah.
well. But anyway, thank you for joining us today, guys. Join us next week live here on Twitch as we get down and spooky nerdy with it yet again on one of Jagger's favorite topics. We are covering Spawn. look at him. Look at him. He's so giddy. I fucking
I'm so
love
happy.
it.
Charles is going to be joining us on that one.
Yes, we got Charles from over at Otaku's Anonymous going to be joining us on that as well.
Yeah.
And if there are any topics you'd like to see us cover on this channel, please leave a suggestion in the comments down below. And if you enjoy what we're doing here and want to help support, please like, share, and subscribe on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Reddit, Tumblr,
Reddit.
uh,
Tumblr.
MySpace if you still fucking have it, Zanga
Are you
if
having
you
a
have it.
stroke?
Just share it everywhere, please do so.
Oh my
And
gosh.
also another one last little bit, I will be looking to start up jam sessions yet again, hopefully in November.
Yay.
I'm looking to start it up in November. So shoot me some ideas that you guys would like to see on jam sessions. Hit me with your favorite music that you've been jamming out to, and hopefully we can get that going up again. And I wanted to kind of like do like a soft announcement here. So a previous guest on jam sessions, Telltale, we had John and Tim from Telltale over on jam sessions. They're gonna be filming a music video for a new single of theirs. And this is open to everybody. but I'm also going to be taking part in this. So if you go over to their Twitter, they have an email that you can shoot them an email that if you're interested in being in their music video. You do not have to go to location. You can film it at home by yourself and do it on your own accord. But it has to be done by October 24th. So if you want to be in the music video for the next Telltale single,
6 days.
hit them up. Hit them up.
6 days to film something.
It's a 10-second clip. You just need a 10-second clip.
Oh.
That's it. It's a 10. So basically, I already went through the process. You shoot them an email and say that you're interested. All right. They're going to hit you up with the criteria that they're looking for. And if you're good to go with it, say, I'm in. They're going to give you a lyric from the song. Basically, what happens is you got to film yourself doing whatever the fuck and then have that lyric somewhere in the video that's very present. It's going to be a lot of fun. And I would love to see you guys take part in that as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. But yeah, so that's my little bit right there that I wanted to share with you guys because I know I've been kind of silent with some things, but I have been planning, I have been working, I've been it's tiring, my guy.
Oh, I know.
Oh man. But yes, so yes, I hope you guys all have a wonderful night and stay spoopy, my friends.